what this reminds me of more than anything, this theme song?
What's
when
that?
they used to do that commercial with Bret Hart and he was in the back, like in the hallway, and he's walking away and a kid's walking with his dad and he turns and he goes, Bret! And the little kid turns around. You remember that? And then this started playing. This was like, he always had some of the most badass entrance music, even when they updated it and tweaked it a little bit. And obviously we're playing this because the Hart Foundation, the original Bret and Jim the Anvil are being inducted. Finally. And you know what sucks though, man? It took, like, why couldn't they do it a year ago? You know what I mean? Like, now Anvil's not there to, you know,
I know.
He would have eaten that moment up. You know what I mean? And it just, it's a shame. It's a shame. And I wonder, though, who inducts them in. And there's only one person I could think of. The mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Oh, yeah, baby. You think Jimmy Hart, baby? Yeah, come on, have a speech.
Listen, Hogan's going to be at Mania. He's going to be a part of it somehow. So Jimmy's not going to be too far behind. So I think that would be, I mean, I don't really know who else would be appropriate to induct the Hart Foundation.
I don't know.
Because, like, the people I think of aren't alive anymore, unfortunately.
You know, and the worst part is, you know, is Anvil is passed on. So,
yeah. Well,
you wish that this happened
a year ago
to honor him while he was still alive, knowing what we know now, to have him, let him have that moment with his family and everything. And I don't know. Wow, that just ends like that?
I guess it just drops that. That's crazy.
There was one that was 15 minutes long. I almost picked that one.
What about Natty? I mean, I don't know if she would actually like be able to get through it, but what about Natty? I mean, I guess she's a possibility, although she did Beth Phoenix, you know, and she did a great job, but I don't know. I feel like Jimmy Hart traveled with them together.
Yeah, they had the whole.
You know what I mean? So he'll be able to tell some great stories, and then of course Bret, I'm sure will tell some great stories as best he can. You know, but either way, you know, better late than never. I mean, he's getting in. They're getting in together, and it's definitely a team that definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for sure.
Very exciting. Very exciting. I mean, this is turning out to be one hell of a class. You know, the Heat and the Hart Foundation.
And it's not even like it's 35. That is a big number, but it's not like you remember like, you know, on the 10s, like the 20th, like you kind of expect it to happen on big one, like the 10th, the 20th, the 30th, the 40th, the 50th, whatever.
Right.
But this is just wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is no joke. It's a wrestling show you'd go see.
Yeah. If that wrestling show took place 20 years ago, you'd go see it.
You know what's a shame? We never got to see the Hart Foundation versus the Harlem Heat.
They never wrestled?
I don't think so.
Harlem Heat probably.
When were they ever together?
That's right, because only
Jim, I don't remember going to WCW at all.
Only Bret Jones, right?
I think only Bret, yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know Anvil was there in WCW like early. Like I think he bounced around like the early 90s. But yeah, I don't think they were around. That would have been a hell of a match.
Hey Vince, hang on one second. Amanda.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Vince, can you hear her now?
I can't.
You still can't because she tried jump. For those of you who are watching, just so you understand, I can hear Amanda perfectly and see her perfectly. Vince cannot see.
I feel bad. I feel like I'm going to be talking over her.
So Amanda's going to be chiming in, and if the rest of you can't hear, I will kind of pass along what she's.
And if I can see, like, if I can read lips here or something, I don't know.
This is like some Twilight.
It really is, because I can see me and Steve's levels going like this when we talk, and then I can't see the little ones. For her, it's almost like she doesn't have sound, but I know she has sound because he can hear her. So.
I can hear her perfectly.
Very
I can
weird.
see her perfectly. Beautiful.
I
as
see my
always.
little dots going
Now, the
up
weird
when I
thing would
talk.
be
I see the dots too.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah. So if Eric or somebody else logged in, that would be the test.
That would be the test. Although I think the only one that I think may be coming on is Ryan. I know Eric had a prior engagement this evening, and Kat lately has been a Hail Mary. I don't know if she's popping in or not. But so listen, we definitely continue this road to WrestleMania. We're less than 2 weeks away. It's turning out to be one hell of a card, a very long card, but a hell of a card. What are we thinking? I mean, I guess, do we start with SmackDown? When we went off the air last week, we were getting ready for Kofi's gauntlet match. And
I said shenanigans.
And we got shenanigans. We most certainly got shenanigans. Once again, Vince threw the screw over at Kofi because when it looked like he won the gauntlet, they threw Daniel Bryan out, and that was it. So, and then they're doing it right. The story is great. I love what they're doing because I really know in my gut at the end of the day, Kofi's leaving Mania as champion. And what I'm loving about the story is the social media aspect. I love when Big E got on his, he in his hotel room alone, and he did what was perceived to be a legit, real, sincere, little promo.
Yeah.
And then, you had a similar one from Xavier, some tweets and some things, they're playing it up on all angles. It's turning out to be great. And I don't know where I heard it, but it might have been within our group, and it might have been in Twitter world, but there's people are really starting to think that in the end of this, even when Kofi, leaves as champion, which is what we're thinking, that Big E is going to be the heel out of all of them, and is going to and he's going to be like the new muscle for the McMahons or something. What do you guys think? Have you guys even heard this, or maybe I'm making it up? But I feel like I've been hearing that going around.
I have heard about a Big E heel turn.
Amanda has heard about the heel turn. So I mean, well, yeah. So I'm not alone. I don't know.
This would be like the Shield breakup.
Fucking A, man. I hope not. I love them together. I listen. I understand all good things have to come to an end and this and that, but this is a team that I feel like doesn't need to be a team that breaks up because somebody turns. You know what I mean? They decide it's time, they go to separate ways, and they're going to be there for each other, but they're not going to be the New Day anymore. And then later on, they can always reform the New Day. Listen, even if somebody turns, look what happened with the Shield, obviously it's wrestling. They can always come back together, but I feel like this is a team that just doesn't need to go that direction.
Yeah, no, they don't. I don't think they need
the APA did a similar kind of breakup, correct?
Did they? The APA?
Like they just did like
like they didn't turn on each other.
Yeah, they did like they had their door and they turned the sign from open to closed, and that was like the end of the tag team.
Correct. It was well done. And it doesn't happen a lot. So I feel like that's something that they could do that would be different right now, because it's just something that doesn't happen. Or at least just doesn't happen very often.
I'm curious to see what would happen to like Xavier in that case. Does he get lost in the shuffle? What happens with him?
I mean, I really hope not. I mean, Xavier is talented as hell, man. I mean, in the ring, on the mic. I don't necessarily think he can pull off a heel. That's just my personal opinion. He can always prove me wrong, obviously, but I feel like I don't see him heelish. I don't really see Kofi much as a heel. I feel like he's just, especially right now, you can't turn him heel because right now he's like the biggest thing going in terms of,
he's as hot as Becky, I think, at this point.
Well, yeah, it's definitely, he's the Becky of the men right now. I think they share that space. But I think I think that out of the three, potentially Big E is the one that would have to be the heel if they're going to go that route. You know, he's
I get it.
You know what I mean? He's the biggest one of the bunch. He's got to be the heel. But I hope he doesn't get. I hope Xavier wouldn't get lost in the shuffle because he is good, and I think he could. I think he could have a decent solo career. I don't know. I could see him as a world champion, but I can most certainly see him as an ICUS kind of champion.
Or 205 Live, maybe?
Xavier.
I fucking hate 205 Live. I think it's a waste.
Yeah.
So, you know, because I like the talent on 205 Live, but I just don't watch it. You know,
like Bennett's on the show. All these good guys are on the fucking
and Maria.
show.
But see, Bennett and Maria shouldn't be on 205 Live. You know what I mean? I mean,
that dude's a heavyweight. I don't know who they're fooling.
He's so fucking talented. And I'm not just saying that because I've met Bennett and I've had many conversations with him, and he's a great guy. And Maria, too. Maria's a sweetheart. I worked many shows with Maria. She was always great with me and always nice. Was she ever the best wrestler? No. But she can take a bump. And she's beautiful. And I don't know. They're a waste on 205.
I absolutely agree. I think there's a spot for him in, like, maybe not with Joe, but on the level of like a U.S. title or an Intercontinental title. I
could totally see that. Totally see that.
I mean,
Bennett was awesome in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and that's the guys, the Ring of Honor fans hated him because they perceived him as a WWE guy.
Yeah.
So the Ring of Honor fans used to boo him because he wrestles the WWE style. Well, now he's there.
And he's not getting the rub.
You'd think he was tailor-made. Like, he's got the look. He's in shape. He's a good-looking guy. He's got a good-looking girl with him.
Yeah.
It should all click, right? It should all just click. I don't know.
I just don't get it. I mean, listen, could it have
Finn?
It would be phenomenal. That, you know what it is? They never gave him the opportunity to show what he can do. You know, and they put most of the focus. Yeah, and they put most of the focus on Maria. I mean, listen. First of all, number one mistake with Bennett. Number one mistake. Took her last name on TV. He's Mike fucking Bennett.
Yeah. He's Mike Bennett. To go for heat.
I get it, but it didn't work. It didn't work. To me, that was just stupid. He's Mike Bennett, you know, and Maria, his beautiful wife. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. They did a lot wrong with him. They still can fix it. He's young. I think in a perfect world, what I would like to see, and I don't know that it's going to happen, and I think it's something that should have already happened, but I would love to see Taven and Vinny and TK O'Ryan and have the Kingdom go to NXT and bring Mike Bennett back in and have all of them together.
That's the only way that group works, honestly, because without Bennett
and Maria, she was a huge part of it.
And Adam Cole was Adam Cole, Bennett, Taven, Maria were the founding members. And now, obviously, the only one left is Taven. It's still, they're still together, and they're the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions.
You can even do it like a Kingdom Invasion and then bring them all together.
Bennett rounds that whole troop of misfits out. You know what I mean? It's like they're all disparate. They're so different. All those guys are so different.
And it worked.
But Bennett and Maria, right, it was like they were the bookends of the group. So I agree. I think Bennett would benefit from being in a group like that, and the group would benefit from him being in it. I don't think he would be fit for like the Undisputed Era. A feud against them would be fine. But yeah, man, I'm all for if they're going to rotate guys around. Instead of being the death spot on 205, Bennett can wrestle in NXT. Show up as an enhancement guy in SmackDown, show up as an enhancement guy in Raw, whatever.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking. Why not NXT?
Right, and why aren't guys like Jack Gallagher, who's fantastic, and Cedric, and all these fucking 205 guys? Would you imagine would you know that there's a title match at WrestleMania? Even if it's on the pre-show, would you know right now who was in the championship match for the 205 Live title?
Not even a little.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. There's a match. That's how shitty. Like, just put him on TV give him a 5-minute match, a 2-minute match, whatever. You got to promote it. It's your product. Not everybody watches.
Could you imagine
TV service?
Could you imagine Cedric versus Ricochet?
They've wrestled before, I'm pretty sure, on the Indies.
I think they did too, but imagine what it would be.
I'm 100% on board of Ricochet wrestling.
Ricochet's becoming one of my favorites right now. He is so much fun to watch, and the shit he does is just mind blowing. You know, I just he's
real acrobatic. He's real athletic. Guy's a stud.
He does things that the body should not do.
I know, right?
It's unbelievable what that guy can do. Unbelievable.
He over rotates. That's the other thing. Is like, what is it, a 630 or whatever it is? He over rotates. He goes too many and then hits them with his back. And it's like the margin of error on something like that is slim. Injury,
and he doesn't miss.
And he does, and you would expect to hear about a guy like that breaking an arm, breaking a leg, popping a knee or an Achilles or a calf muscle or breaking his ankle. So far, I don't want to jinx the guy, but so far it seems like he's led a relatively injury-free career.
I mean, I haven't heard otherwise.
Yeah,
sure.
So the fact that he can wrestle that stuff, unlike Rey Mysterio, whose knees fell apart probably when I was about 9 or 10 years old. I'm exaggerating. Probably when I was like 15 years old, his knees went, and he's only just getting back to the way he was now. Like it's amazing to think that Ricochet has been wrestling and hasn't had like a knee replacement or is like arthritis that's gonna So good on him. I mean the whole thing is fantastic, and him with Aleister Black shouldn't work. It really shouldn't.
And it does.
They're like perfect strangers. They're like Bulky and the other guy. I mean, they just
don't be ridiculous.
Oh my God! If Aleister Black ever looked at Ricochet and said that, don't be ridiculous.
Would you imagine?
Oh boy,
it's just incredible. It really works well. The two of them are great, and there's a very good chance they're going to leave with the titles.
Yeah, is there still?
My God, I
had heard that they were cutting the tag team title matches off of Mania, but I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. I heard they're going to have 17 matches. How could you be cutting any matches if you're having 17 matches?
I don't know. I like that joke that the Revival made about Gronk.
Yeah, and there's I pretty damn sure Gronk, now that he officially went out and retired, and he's going to be at Mania.
Well, he's at least going to get involved.
Yeah.
He's got to do, whether or not he signs something full time, who knows? Speaking of funny thing, Cain Velasquez, former UFC heavyweight champion, signed a deal with AAA Lucha Libre down in Mexico today.
Really?
So he's going to start training with them and making his debut and all that stuff. But he's a heavyweight. Like, he's not going to be doing lucha stuff. He's a heavyweight. But, similar kind of situation, retired athlete, trying to make the transition. A lot of these MMA people are making the transition.
Yeah.
Honestly, what happened was the people of our generation who are MMA fighters, so like in the 30s, starting to, some of them are retiring, but some of them are still in the game. They grew up as wrestling. There was no such thing as MMA. They grew up wrestling fans, and then the UFC came around, and they decided that they wanted to be UFC fighters. A lot of those guys back in the day, if you were an amateur wrestler or an amateur boxer, and you did the Olympics or you did the World Championships, and then you couldn't do it anymore, you were too old, you got injured, whatever, you made the transition to professional wrestling. So you had, you have all of your legit guys. The Iron Sheik was world champion. You had a lot of legit, Kurt Angle, obviously the most famous example, but you had a lot of examples of those guys who went the wrestling route because MMA really wasn't a thing and it wasn't established as a career path until much, much later. But now you're getting those guys who are going, the idea used to be, I don't want to be a wrestler. You take too many bumps. I'm going to go into MMA because then if I do well, I'm taking less damage. But on the flip side, if you lose, you're really getting your arm broken or choked out or knocked out or whatever. So they're seeing that now, and they're like, well, maybe I can use this celebrity that I have to go into pro wrestling, because now pro wrestling looks like the lighter option in terms of the damage and the punishment you put on your body. So it's interesting that there's some sort of trade-off now where like Jack Swagger goes to Bellator, Shayna Baszler and Ronda come to come to the WWE. It's pretty interesting. Connor might come in. Who knows? But Gronk, I think, is a definite possibility.
I think McGregor's too much of a head case.
Oh, he definitely is, but so
like he's too unpredictable.
But Mayweather is the same kind of like. I guess he's not as unpredictable as
they also didn't give Mayweather a contract. They had him a one-night thing. I mean, there's thoughts that now that McGregor for the millionth time has retired from UFC, that he's gonna go to the WWE, and I think that would be a mistake in my opinion.
He might appear, he might do some stuff. I don't think he's gonna. He would never sign full time.
No, they can't control that mouth.
The guy's got this whiskey out. I haven't had it. I'll have to try it one day, but. I mean, it's $26 a bottle. It's pretty mid-range. Like he's trying to get the everyman and sell a lot of bottles rather than selling like an expensive brand and selling fewer bottles at a higher price. So he's got a lot of, oars in the water in terms of income. So I don't know if Connor would necessarily want to make that transition because, I mean, it's pretty much a full-time commitment until you're out the door. You're working or training or traveling every single day. Until you decide to not be in the WWE anymore.
I don't know.
I don't think he could commit to 300 days a year or whatever it is. Not that he would work all 300 days, but you know what I mean? That's a wrestler's schedule.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else we should talk about too on SmackDown?
What was that?
Miz. I mean, we always talk about Miz, always cuts phenomenal promos, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was so good.
It was so good, and it was so good to see the crowd, behind him. It really
took a little while. He started out.
Well, people didn't know which direction he was going to go.
Right. So it was like a hesitant kind of like, okay, we'll see where this is going. By the end of it, there was a point where everybody was on board. They were cheering for him.
When they started saying you deserve it, and then he goes, you're damn right I do. I mean, it was so Miz. But, he talked about the real world. I mean, he really did. If you look back, you got to give somebody like The Miz all the credit in the world. This is a guy who had no ties in the business. The kid went to the real world. He created The Miz on the real world with a Toys R Us replica belt. I remember watching it. And he made himself. And then he got to the WWE, and he got abused in the back. JBL and all them used to prank the shit out of him. This guy used to have to change in the hallway because they wouldn't let him in the locker room. He got abused, and he stuck it out. He developed his character, and he will go down as one of the best in the ring, on the mic. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer now. I mean, he really did it, and you got to respect the hell out of a guy like that.
Especially, I apologize for talking over Amanda Wilker for a second. Especially when he stunk. Like when he started, he stunk.
He couldn't even cut a promo without
cut a promo.
Yeah,
he stumbled and bumbled. He wrote the shit on his hand. He had terrible. He said "oorah" like he was a fucking Marine or something. Like he didn't have a good catchphrase. The whole thing was just shitty. He was the host of SmackDown. I don't know what the fuck he did. He had some stupid thing. He would stand in the crowd and go "oorah," and then y'all go "oorah." I was like, who cares? So to see him evolve from that guy into wrestling John Cena at WrestleMania, whether or not he was ready for it or whether or not, he got concussed in the middle of the match. It wasn't a 5-star classic. There was other shenanigans involved. He made it like the evolution of The Miz up to that WrestleMania. And then after that, he did something that not a lot of people can do. He fell down the card
Yeah.
and worked his way back up. A lot of guys, after they get, they stop getting the title, the world title, and you go back down to the Intercontinental or your World Tag Team titles or whatever it is, kind of get lost in the shuffle. He's been relevant for years and years now. He just keeps himself in storylines. He keeps himself
movies. I mean, he's done how many WWE movies, and I mean, he's the real deal, man. He really, you got to respect the hell out of the guy. Anybody that doesn't,
he was a fan. He was just a
That's
guy,
right.
that wanted to
legit
be a
fan.
wrestler. Right. He didn't, like you said, his dad wasn't a wrestler. His cousin wasn't a wrestler. He had no connections. He was just a guy who watched it on TV and wanted to fucking do it.
Right. Right. And and there's a lot like that. Bailey, Sasha Banks. I mean, look, Sasha, I guess Snoop, probably helped, at least get their attention. But other than that, Sasha had to work her ass off and do her thing. Sure. Sasha was a workhorse in the indies.
Oh, absolutely. Mercedes.
Mercedes, yeah. Fucking her and Sherman and everything else and Chaotic. It's, so, she did it right. There's a lot of them. This is not for nothing. Even Charlotte Flair. Yes, was she able to get in because her dad's Ric Flair? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, she's one of the best ever. So, she belongs there.
Should we
should mention
since you brought up Charlotte, right?
They made it official, and Triple H said it best when he did his promo on Monday night, and he opened up by talking about the women. Boy, do they deserve this opportunity. We are going to be there to witness history.
Yes,
because
it's her.
And Joan Jett.
What was that, Amanda?
It's herstory, not
it is.
history.
It's what?
Herstory. H-E-R.
That's right. She's right. It's herstory. And it's true. It's really a big deal. I'm so honored that I'm going to be able to be there and see it go down. And I think the booking is right too, because as tired as everyone's going to be, people are going to pay attention to that match.
And they don't want, honestly, Brock Lesnar couldn't. As somebody who's been to several WrestleManias, Brock Lesnar doesn't need to be in the main event. He's done it several times. It's okay.
A lot more than several.
Yeah, but I'm saying even like last year was honestly, looking back now after everything that's happened, WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans was the ending was perfect because everybody got to exercise their demon of the frustration of Roman Reigns by booing the shit out of the match for 30 minutes straight. Everybody got it out of their system.
Mm-hmm.
And then now with Roman having to give up his title and go through treatment for leukemia and now coming back, it reset Roman. That moment, now that everybody got their chance to boo the shit, okay, we got it. Like I'm okay. I'm good. I had my chance to boo Roman Reigns for like a half an hour solid. So having him transition to this new kind of character, I'm good. Brock Lesnar, again, he's already been in the main event several times. He doesn't need it. He can put Seth over in the third to last match because they always have a match in between. It'll be great, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Let me ask this now, because we're talking about Roman, because I'm a little torn right now. Who's going to go over, McIntyre or Roman? I feel like, how does Roman not win?
It has to be.
But McIntyre is a beast right now, and it looks like they're pushing the holy hell out of him. So how does he not win? He's going to be
the guy that feuds with Seth. Afterwards.
Well, what he gets disqualified?
But you can't have the guy who said, "You might be tough, and you survived the chemotherapy and the leukemia, but you can't survive me. Scotsmen are tougher than cancer. You're a pussy." Like, what is he?
That's a hell of a fucking voiceover right there.
It was, but I was like, oh my god, I'm watching this, and I even said, oh, this is in poor taste. I was just sitting there like, oh no, he keeps bringing up the leukemia, and it was just like, every time.
You know, but it gives it that personal rub, and it makes it like the real deal. Amanda, what were you saying?
I said, what if Drew wins by disqualification?
What if Drew wins by disqualification?
And Big O goes like full heel.
Okay.
And then goes full heel. I mean, that's...
Or he gets himself disqualified. So Roman wins, but like he beats him up a little bit, you know, rather than saying everybody's he. Drew uses a weapon or something to beat up Roman, gets disqualified, gets some more heat on him, Roman makes a comeback, Superman's punch, spear, all that shit, music. So even though it was a DQ finish, everybody still got to see the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. What are we doing about Angle?
Oh God!
Are we? Because they are acting last night like that match is still fucking going, and I mean now we got to see Angle, Samoa Joe. Hello, didn't I recommend that? I believe hours before. So I would have been much happier with that scenario. I mean, it's like, you know, I just don't get it, man. It's got to change. It can't be Corbin. It can't be Corbin.
It can't be Corbin.
The problem I'm having with Corbin being in it.
Amanda agrees. Corbin can't be in it.
Here's the problem that I'm having. If you watched Joe and Angle, it's no secret that Angle is he's a step slower than he once was.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's being generous, you know, a step slower. But so he needs somebody like Joe, somebody like Chad Gable, somebody who's a fucking wrestler to work with him through the match and make it look as good as possible.
Shelton Benjamin would be perfect. I said it before.
Sure, absolutely. But just because when I think of ring generals or a good hand or a good wrestler, I don't think of Baron Corbin. How is he going to... I'm not saying he needs to carry Kurt, but he needs to carry like a 60-40 or a 70-30 here and let Kurt do a couple things and then go back and you do the heavy lifting. I don't see him as that guy who's going to like make the match by helping Angle out.
I agree. I just, it's going to be a train wreck, and for that to be Angle's last match, it just upsets me greatly.
Well, let's hope it's not.
No, I'll be very upset. I can't. I don't know. Let's change the subject.
I know we're gonna be there. That's the worst part. Well, most of us. Sorry, Amanda.
Thanks.
She said thanks.
Yeah. Well, she's going to SummerSlam supposedly. So instead of coming to see us,
I got
she's
all
gonna
my
stay in Canada.
tickets.
You got the tickets?
Yeah, I did the whole 4-day package.
Oh, Amanda got the 4-day package.
Wow.
What is that?
Which I think it includes TakeOver, SummerSlam, Raw, and...
TakeOver, SummerSlam, Raw, and SmackDown. That's pretty badass.
And I think they did it because I bought the tickets at like 1 a.m. in the morning, like the night of the pre-sale.
Is it bad that Amanda's got a big package now? The total package.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me.
But that's pretty cool.
I'm very jealous of you.
It's a good deal.
Awesome.
It's a fantastic deal, man.
Congratulations.
And it was really cheap, I think.
Still don't have a passport. I can't join you.
It was what?
It was only $360.
Is that in U.S.?
No, that's Canadian, so that's even cheaper in your country.
Seriously? Because we paid that for our Mania tickets, and that's just for the one damn show.
Wait, you know what? I know I can't hear her. I'm gonna be mad when you tell me. Now I need to know.
It was 300 what?
$360.
It was $360 Canadian, so it's even less for us for all 4 shows.
Are you fucking kidding me? Where's the seats? I need to know where the seats are. I'm sorry. Where are the seats?
The 100 levels.
100 levels.
Row 11.
What?
I'm moving again.
God damn it.
crazy.
Give me a job at that donut place. Move up there.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Oh, should we do questions?
We should.
Yeah.
They're all in our group chat here. Let me let me grab them. So we got
You got them? Now I can't hear.
I can hear you,
I
but you
can't
can't
hear
hear me. Steve? Did we lose?
Twitter. He's been
Oh. Could you hear us this whole time?
Vince, can you hear me?
I can't hear a thing.
It's so weird.
Now I can see your face, but I can't hear you. I don't know why.
I don't get
My
it.
computer must be fucked up. I'm going to restart my browser. You just take the questions. I'll be back.
All right. Well, so between the Man, the Queen, and Ronda Rousey, who are you rooting for to win the Raw Women's Championship, and why? I want to see Becky Lynch take the title. I think similar kind of situation to Kofi.
Hey, I can hear you. Okay.
All right, good. So the question, Vince, was the Man, the Queen, Ronda Rousey. Who are we rooting for and why? I said I'm rooting for Becky Lynch. I think it's a combination, kind of like what Kofi Kingston's going through. So, you know, she's the one that's been clawing to get there, and then something happens and she gets thrown back. And, you know, so I'm going with Becky Lynch. That's my
I feel like you got to be even like I'm a big Ronda fan. I'm still rooting for Becky to win. Actually, I was thinking the other day about how funny it would be if Charlotte rolled somebody up and got the pin, and how pissed people would be.
Oh my God, people would riot.
She like held the tights and got a 3 out of nowhere.
I think people would riot.
I want Charlotte to win.
I know, and that's what makes me scared they're going to do it.
That's
Because remember last year, hours before WrestleMania, I was in my hotel room on my phone. You guys were on the podcast. Oh, there's no way Brock Lesnar is beating Roman Reigns. And then
proven wrong as usual.
So, I mean, listen, I hope that doesn't happen. From the beginning, I thought Charlotte was an unnecessary entry into this. I'd rather see a singles match. I understand their reasons for doing the triple threat. It's happening. It's going to be a good match. I just, the good match has to have the good ending, because the finish has a lot to do with how you perceive a match after it's done. So if Charlotte doesn't win, I have a feeling people are going to be very, very unhappy. And we'll voice that displeasure.
Would you say, Amanda? I can hear you, Amanda. What'd you say?
Charlotte is going to win.
Amanda thinks Charlotte is going to win.
Oh, boy.
And I want her to win.
And she wants her to win. You don't want Becky Lynch to win?
No.
Oh, that was a hard no.
Never trust a Canadian.
Wow. All right.
That was from Champion Mister, who has asked several questions over the last few weeks.
Thoughts on Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey main eventing? Awesome. I think it's, we covered that. I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. It was the right choice.
I agree. All right. Then we had Kingsman 36. Do you think Shane puts a stipulation to his match with Miz, and why will it be for Best Dad Bod? And will it be for Best Dad Bod? Okay. No, I definitely don't think. Stipulation, it's Shane, that's very possible. What'd you say, Amanda?
Hell in a Cell, so then he could jump off something.
Amanda's pulling for Hell in the Cell so that Shane has to jump off something.
Oh, he's gonna. Listen, when you get there, you just scope it out. Try and find something that's about 15 or 20 feet in the air that looks like it might have a ladder attached to it or might have some pads below it that you can't see right now.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a classic Shane O'Mac leap of faith from somewhere.
It's New York. He's got to, right? And it's Mania. Like, how does he not?
He didn't do it against AJ?
No, he didn't.
But that was still a great... I love that match.
That was a great match.
That was fun to see live. Because we were all looking. There was like this big inflatable thing above the ring. It actually looked like another wrestling ring above the ring with all lights and shit on it. And people were looking at it before the show. They're going, Shane's going to climb up there and jump off of it. And you looked at it again, you go, that's 50 feet in the air. If he jumped off it, he'd be fucking dead.
Yeah, there's no chance of that.
Mm-mm.
All right, next question was Demon Diva, WWE Demon Diva. Who runs the WrestleMania main event and world?
Girls.
Well, yeah, the girls.
I get it. I understood that reference.
It's a Beyonce reference.
Oh, all right. I missed that. Next one, Dank Nightly Sinsta. Why is it called wrestling and not underwear fighting?
Because we don't name sports after your Pornhub search history.
Ooh, true story.
I like underwear wrestling.
All right, and I think that was it. Anything inbox again?
Sinsta. I listen to Insane Clown Posse and smoke a lot of weed, yo. Fuck off.
So yeah, I think that's it. If anyone sent anything to the Ask Tag Me a Date Gmail, we're still waiting for Kat, and then we'll be able to catch up on those and read those on. But yeah,
man. WrestleRumble. So if you ask a question, hashtag AskTheWarReport or AskTheWarReport@gmail.com, you will be entered into our monthly pay-per-view pick'em contest for WrestleRumble.com, which is a paid WWE pay-per-view pick'em contest. It's as little as $5 to enter, but guess what? If you ask a question, as I said, you'll be entered into a pool of all the other question askers of that month. We'll draw a name, and one of you will get a free entry into WrestleRumble.com. The next one coming up is WrestleMania.
Well, there's actually two. There's
the big show. And with the big show comes the big prize.
I can hear you, Amanda. Hold on, Vince. What was that?
Stop. You have her do the thing.
There's two for WrestleMania week. There's TakeOver and WrestleMania.
So, Vince, they're doing TakeOver and WrestleMania.
I had a feeling that was coming. Yeah. So, I guess if you win, you'll have your choice of whether you want to do TakeOver or WrestleMania.
Yeah.
There are prizes for both. Here, I'm going to pretend that I can hear Amanda and say, Amanda, can you tell us some of the lovely prizes?
So the Mania hasn't been released yet, but TakeOver has. And for first place, you get the WWE UK Championship belt.
Ooh.
For second place, you get free pick'em entries for 1 year. And same with third place. Second and
Very
third.
cool.
In here. What do we got?
So second and third place, you get a year of picks in WrestleRumble.
Oh, wow.
And the number one win gets the UK title belt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the UK title belt.
That is the beautiful belt.
That is a beautiful belt. That's a very cool prize.
Plus, we also have the raffle going on, and it ends this weekend.
They also have a raffle going on that's going to end this week. What's the deal with the raffle?
So the raffle is you win the Winged Eagle.
You can win the Winged Eagle belt
and a belt of your choice.
And a belt of your choice.
So what? Belts. Yeah.
Wow, that's very cool.
Shit, I guess I'm going. Wow, I'm going to WrestleRumble.com. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm going there right after we end the show.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. What else did we miss? I mean, Raw was pretty decent though. I thought Raw was pretty good. I mean, they covered pretty much everything. Triple H did another great promo. Paul Heyman had another great promo with I think it was a pretty good night. It was a lot of promos. What was that, Amanda?
Seth Rollins had a great promo.
Seth Rollins did have a great promo. That's true too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall it was a pretty good Raw. I mean, the Raws always right before Mania are pretty good. I was surprised Lesnar wasn't there though.
I know.
You'd figure, that was part of the payday, was going during the road to WrestleMania.
We got one more week, right?
Yeah. Well, he's got to be there next week, right?
Has to be. Heyman cut a hell of a promo, though.
Well, we expect nothing less.
Goes without saying, but
right.
When Seth dropped the mic
on him, boom,
and he took a bump for the mic.
Oh, that was great.
He jumped. That was fantastic.
Heyman's so funny. He's like, beat him. I'm rooting for you. This. Heyman's so great.
He's a talent, man. What do you guys think of the Saturday Night Live thing?
I think it's stupid.
God, so stupid.
Not the only one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty stupid. I mean, it's going to be a filler. That's all it's going to be.
But why do you need filler on a 7-hour show?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Amanda. Why would you need a filler on a 7-hour fucking show? That's a true ass story, but
yeah.
I mean, listen, they're funny guys, but it's just not necessary.
Yeah, no.
Vince, what do you hate so much about
it? First of all, the white guy, Colin, I guess his name, Colin Jost. I like Michael Che. I don't have a problem with him. He's pretty good. He's actually not. I like him as a comedian. Colin Jost. First of all, if he's going for the world should hate me because I have the world's most punchable face, he's killing it. That's great. But the problems that I have with it are I just don't like that guy, Colin Jost. I don't want him on it's not.
Is it because he's banging Scarlett Johansson?
That bugs me too. But it's just I just don't get it. I don't know. I just don't like his face. I think that's what it is. I'm firmly on the side of I don't like his face. But anyway, it's the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which unfortunately for Andre doesn't really mean anything.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
are they still doing that?
And so it means so little that Rob Gronkowski can jump in the middle of it without being officially entered.
Why do I have a feeling the SNL guys are going to cost Braun the Battle Royal?
They definitely are.
Right?
They're going to, and then he's going to
kill them,
put him through a table or crash a car on him or drive him, run him over with a tank. I don't know, some shit like that. But this was a guy that was challenging for the world title 6 months ago, and he's wrestling in a comedy battle royal with two guys from Saturday Night Live.
Well, we touched on that last week. It's so frustrating. It's like it wasn't so long ago that, we were saying that Braun Strowman's going to main event WrestleMania and get a title or defend the title at that point. And it's like now, he's going to get screwed by SNL guys in a battle royal that means absolutely nothing. I'll never understand that. I'll never understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. They go hot and cold on people so quickly.
It's just mind-blowing to me.
Look at Kofi. Kofi was he was on the right side of that pendulum for a change. It all of a sudden, a couple months ago, it swung where people were hot on Kofi, so then the office was hot on Kofi.
Yeah, it's true.
Now he's back there, which is great, but it's then on the flip side, you have a guy like Braun, who should be in a title picture. It's just frustrating.
I hear you, bro. It's very frustrating. I mean, I think there are a number of frustrating things that are shaping up for Mania, but there are just as many good things that it will, I think, balance out in a way. They still haven't announced anything for John Cena, but I'm sure he's going to be there. There's still a lot that we don't even know yet.
Right.
And we're less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah, and it's really weird to be in that position. Like, technically, we don't have a world title match for the WWE Heavyweight Championship 2 weeks out. Technically.
Wait, what? Oh, because
it's not
COVID.
official. It's not official until tonight. But that's weird to think that we're this close to WrestleMania and we didn't have one of our title matches, world title matches announced.
Amanda, what'd you say?
Who does Kofi have to beat tonight?
That's a good question. She said, "Who does Kofi have to beat tonight?" Do we even know yet? I don't even think we know.
No, what's the gimmick for tonight?
Yeah,
I have no idea. I have no idea, actually. I haven't heard anything either, surprisingly.
Really? I haven't heard anything either. But
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out in 7 minutes when SmackDown Live goes live, if you will.
If you will.
If you will. And by the way, big ups to our friend Robert Strauss, Robbie E, becoming a manager in NXT and rocking the Robert Strauss brand. Looks like it's pretty cool, man. I'm so happy for him.
I mean, he was always a good guy to me.
He was always great with Tag Me a Date, man. He helped us out a lot.
I was 19 when I first started in the wrestling business, and I probably met him when I was like 20, 21. So very early in my career, I was just getting my start. I probably wasn't very good, but he was very nice to me. One time, my first memory of Robbie E was we were setting up a show. We were putting the chairs up and all that shit and putting the ring up. And I mentioned I had a girlfriend, and he asked me, like, did you lick her asshole yet? And my only response was, we've been dating a week. And for some reason, he thought that was the funniest answer I could give. So that was my first, and that was my first real memory of Robbie. And then from there, it's just, I worked probably 100 shows with the guy, and I'm very happy that after 16 years, 18 years, whatever it is, he made it to the dance. And it might be a little different than how he pictured, and it might have been a little later than he pictured, but he's there and he's doing his thing, and I couldn't be happier for him.
What's so funny too is knowing him, I could totally see him saying that to you. Like, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, he used to tell me, because I would really pay attention during matches, because I was trying to pick up, like, watching the guys call spots or watching how they held a hold or take bumps or whatever. I was just trying to pick everything up, so I'd watch really intensely. And always used to tell me I stared at him. And I don't know if I just subconsciously started staring at him to fuck with him, or it was just I was staring at him. But there was a point where he got pinned, and he looked over and he goes, after he lost the match, like he's trying to act all tough, he's like, "Stop staring at me!" It was just, he was the best. We had so much fun when he had cooking.
It is Robbie E from Impact, and I want to thank Tag Me a Date
from NXT.
The event that they're putting on. Robbie E is headed to NC, North Kakalaki, North Carolina, and I'm pumped for it. The question is, who's going to be there? Hopefully everybody. Look forward to it. Boom!
Oh, wait. I got one more.
Yo, what up? It is Impact Wrestling's Robbie E. TagMeADate.com. Wrestling night is now date night. Date night's wrestling night. The combo is there. You got to check it out. Boom!
He's the best, man. I told you.
He was awesome, man. He was just always cool. We spent hours together at shows, and he was just always fucking cool, man. Really good guy. I'm happy for him. He deserves it.
Oh, definitely. Did you see the outfit, though?
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't, but it's just so funny. He wears the fucking shoes, the slide-on shoes, like black leather slide-ons with no socks. And then these pants that I swear to God are 2 inches above his ankle. They're almost a capri pant.
It's true. It's hilarious.
Oh, it's wonderful. I can't wait to see, like, if they bring it to TV. I'm curious to see what he's doing. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's true. All right.
I
Well,
think
we
have
are just about the top of the hour, and we got SmackDown Live starting shortly.
Yeah.
So-
Go to, because I don't think I can do it. Go to the WWE website. See if there's anything. I'll try and go there too. See if there's anything about what's going on. Like with
for tonight on
what they're
SmackDown.
talking about. Like, is Kofi going to talk? Kofi confronts Mr. McMahon. I don't know what the fuck, something. Kurt Angle faces AJ Styles.
Oh, that'll be hopefully a great match because they had some classics in TNA.
Absolutely. He's doing his TNA farewell tour in WWE. And I could have been there tonight, but I'm here doing the podcast. And it's an hour away from me.
They're in Mohegan tonight, right?
Yeah, they're in Mohegan. But I think I'm gonna go to Money in the Bank on the 19th, May 19th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in the Hartford Civic Center.
Yeah. So what is this saying in the aftermath? They said might quit the WWE. Wow. Kinnison said he shouldn't be the response even.
That the New Day might quit?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they've been teasing that whole deal because of this. They're going to threaten to quit, and then that's how Kofi's going to get his match.
Right. They're going to talk about how valuable they are to the WWE, blah, 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 put themselves over, and eventually Vince is going to be like, I can't let him get away. I got to sign him. You're hired.
Sure.
I wonder. I mean, it's got to be Vince. Like, it's all this buildup. He's got to come face to face with the man, and something's got to give.
Well,
That fucking
something's definitely going to go down tonight.
Yeah, he cut that fucking promo in front of Vince. Was it last week? Whatever it was. Fantastic. So, hoping more passion out of Kofi, you know?
Oh, you're going to get it tonight.
Keep it rolling, man. I'm looking forward to this. It came from nothing, and in like February, this whole ball got rolling. And from February on, just built interest, and I'm ready for it, man. This is after 11 years. If you've been watching Kofi Kingston, it's just time, man. It is fucking time.
He's going to get what's coming. I'm telling you. His
hope
payday's coming. All right. That's a wrap.
All right.
Yeah. I will do our final plugs and we'll wrap this thing up. Remember, this is brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. You can find your tag team match on our roster of over 70,000 superstars and divas from all over the world. Search by location, search by your favorite wrestler, favorite pay-per-view, all kinds of different things. It's absolutely free to sign up. It's free to send a message. It's free to match. It's free to search. It's all free. We have
and
apps.
The apps are coming.
Yes.
Mania weekend. They have officially been approved by Apple and by the Google Play stores.
Woo.
So it is happening. WrestleMania weekend. The app will be live. Tag Me a Date going mobile. So download the goddamn app.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Download the goddamn app. That's right.
That's my t-shirt.
There you go. You got to get that printed for the weekend.
Yeah, I should.
You got like 11 days or 12 days, whatever it is. All right. Also, be sure to follow Tag Me a Date on social media at Tag Me a Date. Tag Me a Date, no spaces. You squish it all together. It's all one word. Tag Me a Date. Our YouTube, if you go to youtube.com, type in the search bar, Tag Me a Date. All one word. You'll find our Tag Me a Date channel. You should hit subscribe. You should hit the bell so you'll get an alert when we go live or when we upload a new video. And speaking of going live, we go live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time from the U.S. So adjust your clocks or adjust your time as you need to for 7 p.m. Eastern on a Tuesday night. So follow us on social media at Tag Me a Date. Use the hashtag AskTheWarReport to ask questions that we can read on the air. And again, you'll be entered in our WrestleRumble Pick'em if you do that. And I think that's it. We'll see you next week after this episode of SmackDown and some Raw and some other stuff. We'll get back to you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time for another episode of The War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com. Thank you for listening.